Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here. We are creating a simple yet elegant card using some of my favorite products from Trinity Stamps. If you've watched my videos before, you know how much I love the Garden Flowers collection. This is a great seasonal set of dies with stitching details. We're bringing those in today to create a beautiful friend card using the new Simply Sentimental Friend Die and Stamp Set. Trinity Stamps is known for their Simply Sentimental collections, and I love how they focus on just words and sentiments. They provide me with multiple options for my card making projects. As always, I'll bring in a few additional supplies as I create this card. I encourage you to use what you already own, but if you would like a complete list of what I'm using, you will find the supply list in the description below, along with my affiliate link to the Trinity Stamps shop. Let's go ahead and get started with the project. I have cut a main panel for my card at 5 1/4 by 4 inches. This is going to serve as a background for the card. I'm going to create a textured background with this fun swirly die from the Emergency Essentials die set. On the back of a 4 by 5 piece of cardstock, I'm applying some double-sided tape. This trick is going to make the assembly process go a little faster, and it helps avoid the mess of liquid glue. When you're cutting intricate dies with adhesive backing, add a shim to your die cutting sandwich layers. This will create a little more pressure and help cut through the adhesive material. Now, once this is cut, you're going to carefully peel off the backing and place it on the card base. I'm starting about 1/4 inch from the top. I'm going to eyeball their placement, but if you prefer precision, you can use a ruler to line these all up perfectly. I want to warn you that this part of the process takes the most time, but once it's done, everything else comes together quickly. The loops in my border are going to line up with each other. For variety, you can stagger them slightly and create a different effect. Now, if intricate die cut backgrounds aren't your thing, you can achieve a similar look using embossing folders or textured cardstock. I think the hardest part for me was getting these little bits out of the shapes. I found that it was easier to remove those first before releasing the cuts from the dies. I did end up with these little bits all over my craft room, but I have a very forgiving husband who helped me clean them all up. All right, I'm going to finish placing down the last few borders. I love how this looks and how it brings texture to that card. Let me know in the comments if you want to give this background a try. Let's take a look at the other pieces that you're going to need for the card. This A2 navy cardstock will sit behind the textured background. To save paper, I cut some of my images out of the center of this panel. Using the Emergency Essentials die set, I cut a large circle and a scallop circle. For the word friends, I use the Simply Sentimental Friend die set. Just like before, I added double-sided tape to the back before I cut this out. I cut the shadow layer for my sentiment from white cardstock, but it would also look great in another color or cut from vellum. Lastly, I have the butterfly layers. This die set includes a lower wing layer that could be cut from another color. I cut mine from white cardstock and vellum. Now, don't toss this little butterfly cut just yet, because I want to show you how it can be used on the inside of your card. Let's quickly add the word friend to our shadow layer. To speed up the process, I added double-sided tape to the back before cutting these, so they act just like little stickers. The N was a little more tricky. The swirl part is delicate, so I had to be careful peeling that off and adding it to the shadow layer. I decided to remove the S from friends, so my card is going to say friend instead. A quick little snip with my scissors does the trick. With all the texture on my card, I wanted to make sure that this sentiment stands out. It's a little too thin in some areas to add foam adhesive, so I'm going to stack another set of letters over the top. This creates dimension and structure with the sentiment, and it gives it a more polished look. Now that our sentiment is done, let's move on to the assembly process. If you're enjoying this project so far, don't forget to hit that button and subscribe for more card making inspiration. I have already adhered my texture background to the navy card base. The scallop circle is layered on top of the larger circle. I'm using 2mm foam tape between the layers. To add some definition between the white circle and squiggly background, I'm going to place some 1mm foam tape behind that larger circle. Once that's in place, I'll add the friend sentiment. I added an additional shadow layer to help this pop off the card. Take a look at how thick these layers are, and it looks so much nicer than adding bits of foam tape. Remember, you are welcome to make changes to any of these colors. Instead of white, you could use a pastel or bring in a mix of colors. There's so many possibilities with this simple design. Now for the finishing touch, a beautiful layered butterfly. I'm adding glue to the center of the cardstock and the vellum wings. I want these to be able to lift slightly to create a fluttery effect. I'm going to attach this body over the center of the layers and hold everything in place for a few seconds here. Now that this is dry, I'm going to fluff up those vellum wings and adhere my butterfly to the card. This small layered detail really elevates the design. Before I mount this front panel to my card base, I want to add some special details inside the card. I'll be stamping a sentiment from the Simply Sentimental Friends stamp set. This collection of stamps has some great phrases and words that I know I'll be using over and over again. To tie in the butterfly theme, I'm going to use the negative die cut piece from earlier as a stencil. I'm going to place it inside the card panel and tape off the edges with some repositionable tape. The wings are going to be colored with a soft blue to create a subtle butterfly silhouette. Now I'm going to bring in the body shape and mask off the edges. This is going to be shaded with the same color of blue as the sentiment. How cute is this? I'm going to go ahead and adhere my front panel to this card base, and then I'll share the completed design with you. As a final embellishment, I added a small clear gem to the butterfly's head for a hint of sparkle. This card design is versatile, and you can create it in any color combination. I love how the navy blue on this card stands out against the white. It's such a classic and striking contrast. Here's another card that I created using a teal color, and I love how it looks. You can swap out different sentiments from the Simply Sentimental Friends collection, or use various textures and embellishments to make it your own. I hope that you enjoyed today's card making tutorial. If you have any questions about the project or supplies I used, feel free to leave those in the comments below. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.